Okay, this is Cuisenaire rods, a fraction routine for adding fractions, part two. This is a more sophisticated problem, and here's why. I've established the whole is the orange. That means that the red one will have a value of 1/5. Of course, I want the reasoning to go here, and that is because it takes 5 red pieces to be equivalent to the orange piece. And this will have a value of 1/2. Again, I want the reasoning there. And but now the problem is I can't add those two together, like 1/5 plus this. Don't forget, this is 1/5 plus 1/2. Remember, like now what do I do? In your normal routine, you would say, oh, I have to find a common denominator. And the way to say that is I have to get the same color blocks. And so remember that this one is 2 of those white blocks, and this one is 5 of the white blocks. And so you could write something like, oh, so this is like 1/5 equals 2 white blocks, and 1/2 equals 5 white blocks. So the total here would be 7 white blocks. And that's literally how I would like students to think of it. But I need to have a fractional value for the white block. Like, what does 7 white blocks mean? So I would say, oh, to know what the value of a white block is, I have to compare it to the whole. And so that's equal to 1/10. And give my reasoning there, because 10 white blocks is equivalent to 1 orange block. Okay, so now instead of writing 7 white blocks, actually what I should have written there is not 7, but 2 white blocks plus 5 white blocks is equal to 7 white blocks. That's fine, but really this is 2/10 plus 5/10 equals 7/10. And so that's your answer. Now, okay, so what are we doing here? You recognize right away that we are finding a common denominator, but common denominator is such an abstract idea that a 10-year-old brain has a very hard time wrapping around that. And so what I am suggesting here, you might say to yourself, oh, all these blocks, it's so hard. And yes, it is. But if you want your students to understand what a common denominator is, this is the way to do it, so that as you slow down to help them really get a strong conceptual understanding, then they can understand what they're doing. That's the whole intent here. And what I have to say is, oh, it's 2 white blocks plus 5 white blocks. But then what the heck is a white block? Oh, I know how to find what a white block is, the fractional value of 1/10. And now you see why we've put so much time into determining what fractional values are.